Good evening. It's the Ask Dr. Renee show. I am your host, Dr. Renee. And if you've never seen the show before, the show is only here to motivate and inspire you to live the life that you deserve. At the end of the day, we only have one life and we might as well live it well. So instead of waiting for when or if or once I get, just live life now. There's so many things you could do right now. Our guest tonight is a perfect example of doing it right now. Numa Perrier and Dennis Storch began, with some other people, began this amazing channel of web series that came from a movie, but they didn't wait for being greenlit by some big movie company. They didn't wait for ABC, NBC, or some network to pick up the shows. They literally went out there and created this stuff themselves. So I can't wait to talk to her. As you guys know, today is TREP Tuesday. TREP stands for entrepreneur. So she, of course, is an entrepreneur. And actually, we'll find out, but I'm not sure that she ever was not an entrepreneur, which is pretty cool, probably. And so I am so excited. Thank you so much, Numa, for joining us this evening. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
So let's get started. So Numa was recently in Chicago, and I learned so much about her that I didn't already know. So I got to see 4 of her short films that were amazing. But I didn't know. So where did you grow up? And I didn't realize that you were one Haitian, fellow West Indian girl. Second, so we're Antiguan. My dad's downstairs.
Okay.
And, yeah. So I didn't know you were West Indian, and I didn't realize that you grew up the way you did. So please explain that, because I think people will find that very fascinating.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Haitian, first generation, but I was adopted at a young age by an American family, American couple, and grew up in small town USA. So I don't really have one particular city or place or state that I can say I call home. We moved around a lot. I lived on a farm for several years, and in the South and Las Vegas, and I just had a very kind of unorthodox, very textured, very adventurous childhood. And I was fortunate enough to be able to meet my Haitian mother and father and family when I was 17 years old. So now I have both worlds. I have this kind of small town American culture that's part of me, part of the environment that I had. And then I have what runs through my blood and what's in my gene pool, and what has come to also be my environment now, which is my Haitian culture. So yeah, it makes me the unique person I am, I suppose.
That is very cool, but I think that also helps to your creativity as well, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, definitely. When you grow up in small towns, especially living on a farm, it's a really ripe place to cultivate your imagination. And because I was always, running around the pastures and just coming up with stories from a very young age, and just dreaming up things, when I was bored, and being with nature and just trying to make sense of life. And I think that led to a very vivid imagination and a need to express a lot. I had a lot going on inside of me that I needed to express and talk about, and I did that through the arts.
So what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be a writer. But I also remember at a very young age asking my mom if I could be a juror, because I thought that being on a jury was a job. And I don't know where I got this idea. I think I was maybe, I don't know, I was very young. I might have been 6 or 7 years old, and I must have saw something on TV or something, but I knew that there was this group of people that would decide on cases, and I thought that was a fascinating thing and I was interested in it very, very young. And my mother told me that's not a job, that's like civic duty. And so that dream was kind of shut down, but I still have, I still think that I have, that's still part of me, this kind of idea of being part of a group that moves something forward, that discusses ideas, that thinks about what's fair. that enjoys philosophy, that type of thing is still part of me. So that was the one thing I wanted to do that was not within arts, but I've been writing and acting from a very young age. I've been producing from a very young age, though I didn't know it was called producing. I think I'm kind of a natural born producer as well. And then I got into photography and filmmaking and all kinds of experimental arts as well as a young adult. So it's just been my whole life.
So did you have any training to do this, or literally all of this stuff you've learned from others, taught yourself?
I've had training.
Okay.
I think training is important, and I've had training, but a lot of it was and is a raw talent that then I wanted to do more with. So I, am still in an acting class. I still study theater arts and dance and writing, and I still am always learning and reading and applying myself and learning a lot about business as well from a young age. But I also learn a lot by doing. So I'm not like only learning from reading and studying other people and going to whatever classes I can get my hands on, but I'm just really getting hands-on experience. So in a way, that's taught me more than anything else.
I'm sure. I am sure. So in all these things you wanted to do, did you ever imagine you would be an entrepreneur in this way, shape, or form? Like, you wanted to be an actress, and obviously actors are not, they don't have corporate jobs, but did you think you would own this conglomerate like this,
Well, when I was 8 or 9 years old, I did have my first company and or my first business, I should say my first business. And my very first business was selling poetry to my fellow classmates. So I was a writer. I wrote poetry all the time. And an idea, because every time Mother's Day and Father's Day and Valentine's Day would come around, kids always wanted gifts for their family. And so I came up with like this list of genres of poetry, and I was charging like a nickel per line. So you could get, a 4-line poem for 20 cents, and I would take that money and put it in a jar until my jar got full. When my jar got full, I'd go buy some ice cream or something. So that was very enterprising. And I was,
it's so West Indian, because we went.
I didn't get an allowance. I didn't get an allowance. We were pretty poor. We were basically like sharecroppers in the 80s in a way. That's the best way I can describe the farm situation that we lived on. It wasn't our land. We were kind of like tending to it, and we weren't profiting from it. And so there was no such thing as like, if you do these chores, you'll get allowance. Yeah, sip it, girl, sip it. It was, you do these chores because you do these chores. There was no like, oh, you're going to get money at the end of the week. So I was like, I got to have my own money, all my own ice cream sandwiches. So I've always been enterprising. As far as Black and Sexy TV, it's not something I thought of from a young age. That was a very organic process of just coming into my own as an artist and a young filmmaker, and then attracting those same people around me who all wanted to do something for our community. And so that was just a natural course of my life. I would have never ever thought of it, Black and Sexy TV, from a young age, because I didn't even grow up in Black environments really, so that has been something new and a different life than I had when I was younger.
Yeah, I think that's the West Indian in you, because we picked ginnups in Antigua, me and my cousins and my sister, and we sold them. And then one of the kids we sold them to, his grandmother got mad that he bought them because he could have climbed the tree and got them himself, And they came over with the grandmother, and my grandmother was like, no, he should have went and did that. He gave his money. We're not giving it back. It was so funny.
You gotta be back your money, be about your paper, right?
Exactly. And I mean, when I'm telling you, we were young. We were like in 5th grade, maybe 5th, 2nd grade. Like, it was really we were young, okay?
Yeah. So, hey, it's you do what you gotta do, and I think I just had a natural inclination towards it. You know, my parents weren't examples like saying you should find ways to make your own money. I was just like, look, I'm about to sell these poems right here. And people bought them, and I made a presentation to my class like, if you would like a poem, it costs $0.05 per line. So I will write you a beautiful poem for your mom, you know, and people, they did it.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I wish I had some of those poems now.
Right. Anybody out there that has a Numa poem?
I know, I'm in touch with one woman on Facebook that knew me back then, and she remembers. So that is
hilarious.
Yeah,
I love it. So, okay, so tell us, how did you meet Dennis first, and then I'm sure that unravels A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy, which turns into Black and Sexy TV.
Yeah, sure. We have a fun story. We met in the digital space. We met on MySpace. If anyone remembers MySpace from like 2007, okay?
Who knew love connections were being made on MySpace?
No, those of us in our 30s, no. Those of us in our 20s don't know. But, you know, I know MySpace.
And I know, yeah.
From 2007, I was on MySpace. And I had, MySpace was so awesome because on MySpace, you could have your song on there. You could code your own page. I taught myself how to code. There was a blog. There was like, you could just change every week. It was like a magazine. When you came to my page, it was a whole new page with new photographs, a new blog. I mean, I would just change it every week, and it was such a great way for me to just put my art out there because I was making all of this work and had really kind of nowhere to show it, but I had this place called MySpace where I could show it. And, you know, I guess Dennis was trolling along and he came across my page, and I think he probably like spied on me for a while, I don't know, but he eventually slid in my DMs and was like, hey, I like your photography. I just made a movie, you know, I wish I knew you earlier. I would have had you do set photography for my movie. And I was like, who is this guy? D. Dorch hitting me up about doing some photos for his movie that he already filmed. So that movie was A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy. So, he was just starting to edit the film. And so we met pretty quickly about 2 weeks later because I didn't like the whole idea of like just corresponding with someone on MySpace. You don't really know if they're real. You don't really know like if what you're feeling is legitimate, you know, so, or like if they're catfishing you or whatever.
Right.
So I was just like, let me see like if this person is real, this person really has a movie. So we met up. He indeed had a movie. He showed me some of his short films. I showed him some of my short films, and it was just like there was a synergy there, and there was a similar aesthetic to a certain degree, a similar sensibility, and just a similar, we had similar ambitions, and we just really clicked. And we started working together pretty quickly. From there, it was like, oh, you're doing this project. Oh, you're doing that project. I would sit with him while he would edit his movie. He would come to my art shows. And it just was like a friendship that developed into more over time. And now we're family.
That is awesome.
So we created a child together. So it was like the ultimate creation. Yeah. And she's 5 years old now. So yeah, from the movie, once the movie was completed, it was selected for Sundance, which was a huge thing. You know, more and more Black filmmakers premiere at Sundance now, but in 2008, it was still not a lot, and there's still not enough now, but imagine in 2008, it was kind of like A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy exploded at Sundance. People were, you know, white people were running around saying, Black and Sexy, have you seen this film, Black and Sexy? Oh my God, you know, is it a porn? Is it this? Is it that? I've never seen Black people like this before. And it was just, there was so much really rich conversation around what Dennis had unveiled in that movie. And to this day, people really look at it as a strong like figure piece of Black intimacy, really, and showing us for who we are beneath the sheets, you know, and who we are in our most vulnerable moments and what we go through daily. So, you know, I fell in love with that. I did the photography, the movie poster is my photography. And we've just been collaborating ever since. And Black and Sexy TV was born out of wanting to continue to feed the fans who wanted more and wanting to continue to feed ourselves with creating more along the same line. So it was a very natural progression.
So how did you have funding to get actors? Like, first of all, what was the very first show that you guys created?
Well, in the early days, we started off doing skits. So we had a series of skits called Awkward Phone Calls. And it was just a bunch of things, like a group of us were writing like different things that it was very easy to shoot. We would shoot one person on one side of the phone and the other person on the other side of the phone. Sometimes in the same house, we just make it look like two different places. And we shot a lot of other kind of very naughty skits, very sexually tinged skits. And I think like the internet was not ready for all of them because we released a couple of them and like they were total duds. Like nobody was interested at all. And we just started thinking maybe we need to go into more still short form, but longer form content, like serialized content. And that was something I definitely really pushed for, but the whole team was behind it and excited about it. And we launched The Couple and The Number pretty much in tandem. The Number technically released first, and The Couple followed quickly behind, but both shows were the first time that we showed this universe where people knew each other from both series. And that's because Dennis and I were fighting about which series should go first, because I'm starring in The Couple, but he created The Number. So we were fighting about which show should air first. And that's how we came up with, well, let's do both at the same time. Maybe The Couple in The Couple knows The Couple from The Number, and the rest is history. We've been integrating tying our characters together throughout every show ever since then. So it was one of the best fights we ever had.
So, so where did you know, who are these people? Like the actors and actresses, how did you find them? And how did you pay them at first?
In the very beginning, none of us were getting paid. We were all just like on Actors Access or LA Casting, just, you know, getting together and doing it for the love of it. We were putting it on YouTube, so we weren't making any money. YouTube didn't have any kind of paid program. Actually, when we first started filming, we weren't even putting them on YouTube. They were just on our hard drive. So we were just filming things and storing them. And so this was like 2009. We didn't release anything on YouTube till 2011. So it was 2 years of filming different things. I was also pregnant during that time. We also filmed Roomieloverfriends during that time, but we never released any of this content. We just filmed it. And we were looking for a home when we were trying to build our own platform, which is a huge undertaking. And after 2 years of trying to do that on our own, we finally started releasing things on YouTube. So the very early days, no one was getting paid. Everyone was just doing it because they loved acting. They wanted to try out this character or whatever. And until we started actually fundraising, crowdfunding, and charging for our content, there was no money to pay anyone. So we turned that corner, and you know, we're proud to say that people get paid now. You know,
right?
So
you know, of course, everyone, especially the entrepreneurs, want to know, how did you eat while you weren't, you know, getting paid?
At that time, we were doing a lot of different odd jobs. So so I would do like styling jobs. I'm not a stylist, but somehow I would just kind of talk my way into letting, like, someone would let me do wardrobe for like their movie or something, you know. And I'm a photographer, so I would do headshots. We just hustled, you know, whatever side skills we had. Dennis is an editor, so he would do editing gigs. And a lot of times we wouldn't even pay our rent. We'd put our rent into production until we got the eviction notice on the door. We had to go to eviction court and fight it because we were really putting everything that we had into this very unstable thing, but it was our vision for the future that kept us going and made it worth it, and our passion for the content we were creating that propelled us forward. So yeah, sometimes we didn't eat very well, honestly, you know, sometimes we really didn't. We had a lot of slim days. We had some stressful moments for sure. Just in between side jobs. And then we finally said, we got to do a fundraiser. And that's when we did our first crowdfunding.
That is so important, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs need to understand, how do they survive? And that's how you do it. You hustle. You just got to hustle. And you've got to literally think about every single talent you have, and don't put a period there. Don't be too good to do something.
You got to make a list. Yeah.
You got to make a list.
A list of like 50 things we could do for money. And I was like, all right, let's go through the list and like, let's get it popping. And then we had a few early people that would help us through hard times. Like if we were really, really short on our rent or on a bill, there were some people that believed in us that would cover that, you know, and, you know, those are people that have been like benefactors to us, and that, you know, didn't want to see us out on the street.
Right.
You know, that stepped up. And because we've just been fortunate to have good friends like that. Dennis and I, we don't have really any family in LA, and we don't have the type of family we can lean on to loan us $1,000 or whatever, like some stories I've heard, you know?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and so not everyone has that, but we had it in a different way. We had it through friends, we had it through other creatives that believed in the very beginnings of what we were, and they could kind of see where we might go. So for that, yeah, we were able to get over some hard times.
I want to remind everyone, if you have questions, don't forget you can tweet them to @AskDrRenee. You can type them into YouTube, and my EP will send them over to us. And if you're in the Google Hangout, you can type them in and we'll see them on the side of the screen. Numa, you can see them too if you click Q&A. So one question we have is, which show is the most successful?
I mean, it depends on how you gauge success, you know. If we're going strictly by views and awards, it would probably, are you sipping tea right now?
Water.
If you go by
look, I finished the tea.
If you go by views and kind of, it's hard. Roomieloverfriends is a very successful show. That was our tentpole show. It had the most viewers, the most fans. It was the first series to win awards. It was the first series to be broadcast on national television. It's a wildly successful show. Shout out to Andre and Shayla, who really make it everything that it is. Very proud of that series. So for sure, Roomieloverfriends. Also The Couple, you know, The Couple's the first series that got a development deal at HBO, which is one of the best cable networks there is. So I would consider that wildly successful. It didn't have the same viewership as Roomieloverfriends, but it had.
That's probably because it was so early on. Because that's the first one I saw was The Couple.
So it's a smaller show, and it's a different segment of people enjoy it. Roomieloverfriends is a bigger show with a bigger budget, more bells and whistles, higher production value, and a different concept. You know, where The Couple. There wasn't, I don't know, it's just every show hits a different segment of our community. That guy has been wildly successful. Once that show got on its feet, it just took off. It's, you know, it has a very strong cult following, you know, to this day. So very successful series. And then Sexless, which we launched our subscription service with, is wildly successful as well. So, you know, we've been very fortunate to have a really strong team where we've been able to create several hit series. And then we have all of our series are doing really well. But I think those series in particular definitely flew. And then, you know, there's Chef Julian as well, which I think is one of our strongest series right now too. So it's like, there's something for everyone. And
Right.
some people like all of those shows and some people only like one. Some people like two, you know, and there's something for everyone.
So so this is another good question. If I'm new to Black and Sexy TV, where do you think I should start?
I would say start with vintage Black and Sexy. That's what we call it now. Start with the couple and the number. You know, start from the beginning so you're not confused later when you're like, oh, why are they referring to this person and that person? And they're all tied together. And really actually go on Netflix and watch A Good Day to Be Black.
That's what I was going to say.
Because when you see the film, I feel like you really get like the heart of who Dennis is. And all of our blood runs through this company, but his blood started it, you know? And I think if you start with the movie, it'll blow your mind, because if you haven't seen that movie, you haven't seen anything. You need to see it. So I would say start on Netflix, watch A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy with somebody so that you can ooh and ah and discuss, and then make your way to vintage Black and Sexy, watch The Couple and the Number, and then just, you know, make your way through and start cherry picking around and tell your friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly cannot remember how I found you guys. All I know is I did watch The Couple. Maybe, I don't even know. I know I watched The Couple. And then I know Roomieloverfriends and Hello Cupid. And then Sexless and Chef Julian. So I saw Becoming Nia, but I'm behind. I need to watch what all is there.
And Becoming Nia has another cult following, very strong cult following. Yeah. That series means a lot to a lot of people. So I'm telling you, there's really, and we have so many more things that we can do and that we plan to do, but I'm really proud of all the series that we have that speak to the hearts, really speak intimately to all different types of us, you know, because we're not monolithic. We all have different, when we say see yourself, we mean see yourself. It's like as a whole, like everyone can see themselves in Black and Sexy TV.
Exactly. I think that I liked, so originally you guys, they were on YouTube. And so you would get to watch for free, but then they started doing where the season finales we had to pay for, and it would be $3 and it was no big deal. Then they started doing the mashups where they would have two different series, have one episode that was like an hour long, and you'd pay for that. So I thought that was great, the way you gradually brought us in. So Numa, you don't know this, but I am the cheapest person on the planet. I don't say frugal. I'm very honest. I'm cheap. So when I tell people that I subscribe to Black and Sexy TV, their mouths drop because they know I pay for nothing. Nothing. And they're like, you pay? Huh? No, well, you know, somebody has Netflix.
Do you have Netflix?
Look.
Okay.
Somebody has Netflix and I have Netflix. Huh?
Okay, got it. So you got the
I don't have Hulu. I don't have nothing. Exactly. So when I say I am cheap, I am so serious. But when the Sexless was coming, I said, I'm just going to have to subscribe. And they had a special. It was $5 a month if you subscribed early on. I said, let me jump in right now.
Yes.
So it only went up to $7, you guys. So it's only $7 a month. So that's not a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It is really nothing. And it's worth every penny. And then what I do love is that a lot of the actors and actresses are starting to be seen other places. I went and saw Dear White People with my cousin and his girlfriend. We all were screaming at the screen when we saw the girl from Hello Cupid. And Roomielover, actually both of them were in there. There was one from Hello Cupid and one from Roomieloverfriends. Then we saw Take Top 5 and saw somebody from Hello Cupid. I mean, it was just like, oh my God. And then when I saw Kalila on Being Mary Jane, I said,
so out.
Yes, I was just like, oh my God. And then somebody had to remind me last night on Periscope, the have and the have-nots has the girl, the guest girlfriend. Yes.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, our actors are very talented. A lot of them
Oh,
are
yes,
already,
I totally
they're
agree.
already working actors, you know. But definitely, we feel good. We're really proud of the fact that we give even more of a platform. We may not be reaching the millions of people that BET reaches, or Fox, or whatever, HBO, whatever reaches, but we're reaching people in a different way where it really impinges on them. It's not like a guest star, a little guest star role that no one's really going to remember you for. It's a role where you have a real life, you have fiber and texture and humanity, and these great actors get to work out their chops for real, you know. They get to do things that they never even get brought in for, you know. And even though the landscape of TV is changing, we still feel like we're definitely one of the leaders, if not the leader, in really having just good roles for people that are already shining to shine more, you know, to shine even brighter. So we always expect it. It always happens. You know, you'll see more. You'll see more people from Black and Sexy popping up everywhere, because some of them you probably saw before, but you just didn't remember them until they were in a consistent role where they were seen every single week in a way that really speaks to you, you know. And so now you'll never forget them. And so we feel really proud of that.
I like that you guys do, and I wish Netflix did. Even though it is like nail biting, I love that you just do one episode a week. You'll have to wait till next week. I love that, because that binge watching of Orange is the New Black and stuff is crazy. It is insane. And guess what? I don't remember. I can tell you what happened last season at the end. Yeah. So now the new season, I really need to go watch the whole thing again. So if you release them one a week, I think that makes much more sense. But I love how you guys do that, even though, like I said, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat like, oh my God. But and you guys, it's so convenient. They send you a friendly little email in your inbox to tell you the new episode is up.
It is.
So then, you guys, before I had an iPad, I would watch them here on my handy dandy telephone while I was in bed some nights. I would watch, because they have an app, Black and Sexy TV app.
It was like this in bed.
I'm like this in bed, watching my show. Exactly. And then I got my iPad, so we stepped up our game. So now we're on the iPad Mini. And then there's some nights that I will watch it on the computer. I'm hoping to get that Apple TV so we can move you guys to the television.
Get the Apple, because there's nothing like it. Like, now that we finally have one, it's amazing to sit back and be able to watch it. I mean, we still watch a lot of things in bed because, you know, it's our culture now. That's what we do. But it's nice to be able to just cast it over to the TV and watch it, you know, with a bigger screen, and kind of sink into a night of Black and Sexy in a different way. So you should do that. We're really happy.
I'm really thinking about that Apple TV.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I love this stuff. When I, like I said, I've been telling people about it for years, but when I knew you're coming, I've been telling people, and they're like, they really were in a state of shock that I paid a subscription. And I was like, you guys don't understand. When I tell you this is good television, this is the best television. And like Wendy's hair, I just love. I just want her to come and school me. And I think we have the same texture, and I want her to school me. And I saw how she schooled she schooled Sarah.
Yeah.
Remember, Sarah didn't know what to do with her hair on Sexless. I thought that was fun. You should have seen me. I was writing down ingredients.
The next day was like, smelled good. Yeah.
Yes, I was cracking up. I was writing down the ingredients. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Yeah. But so you guys that watch know that Chef Julian is going to be back next week. Is this the second season or the third?
It's the second season. It feels like more because the storylines collide with Sexless because it's a spinoff.
Right.
So yeah, but it's second season.
So this is the second season. Okay. So you guys, so for those that need a quick catch up, first of all, start off with Sexless. And then we can talk into Chef Julian, just so they get a quick catch up so that they can get in and start good.
Sexless, like the title, it's about 4 women who are all dealing with either abstinence or virginity and still trying to date at the same time. So you have 2 women who are virgins, and you have 2 women who are trying to slow their roll, or trying to hold off on having sex until they're in a committed relationship or married. So, but they still are, you know, hot-blooded women who want to date and, you know, have a companion and flirt and have a good time. You know, they're all young women. So, so that series really delves into each, and they're all good friends. So it delves and it intertwines their relationships and how they're just really just trying to deal with everything that comes their way, pun intended. And then Chef Julian, we did a spinoff. Julian is a character who was dating Wendy, who Wendy's trying to be celibate until she's in a relationship. But Julian doesn't want a relationship, but he does want to date Wendy, so you can see where that might be a little complicated. And he agrees to go along with her abstaining from sex, but he puts all these rules, you know, to it, that they can't hang out after 10 o'clock and they can't do this, and you know, he's still going to see other people, so don't get caught up in your feelings. Of course, Wendy gets caught up in her feelings
because she's a girl.
Well, you know, because they just have that chemistry, and they do develop feelings for each other. So the character Julian was very popular, and we wanted to go more into his point of view. So we did a spin-off series called Chef Julian, where we saw from his side, like, all the different women he was dating, including Wendy, and how they affected his life and his, you know, sexual prowess. So in season 2 of Chef Julian, so much happened. No spoilers, but a lot happened between Wendy and Julian. A lot happened with all the women on Sexless. All of their stories are full of drama and intrigue. And but on Chef Julian season 2, I think I can spill this tea here. On Chef Julian season 2, Chef Julian has decided to stop having sex. So he is doing his best to abstain from sexual encounters for his own growth as a man. And so we're exploring that in season 2, and we're having a lot of fun with what that looks like. So tune in Sunday, first episode, second season.
May 29th. Okay, so I forgot. I don't know how I forgot. Chef Julian features one of our very own. I don't know if I mentioned I'm a Detroiter. That's where I am right now.
Iman?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you guys, if you don't know who Iman is, she won an award last year at the Black Women in Hollywood luncheon that Air Non-Own, that Essence does every year. She won an award. She is amazing.
She amazing. I adore Iman. Iman hit me up maybe 2 years ago. You know, she knew about Black and Sexy TV. She had made this film. This is before she won the Essence Award for it. She sent me the film. I was really impressed with her. You know, not just her film, but the fact that she made a film. She made a film with a role that was right for her.
She's young.
She shines in the role. She's young. She's talented. And I knew that I was going to cast her in something at some point. I didn't know what. I didn't know when. I didn't have anything for her at the time, but I was thinking about her. And then when we went to cast Sexless, I hadn't heard from her in a long time. So I forgot to bring her in for the casting, for her to audition for one of the 4 women. And then we had already cast all the 4 women. I was like, oh, I forgot to bring that woman, the actress, writer, director, you know, Iman. I forgot to bring her in for the casting. And I was like, there'll be something for her that comes up. And so when this role of Yasmin came up, I called Iman right away and I said, I have a role for you if you want it, you know. And she read the script, she accepted, and the rest is history. She's killing it.
Yes, she is.
I love seeing other women that take that type of initiative. I love seeing other actresses that actually find a way to showcase themselves that's not self-indulgent, that's just them living their dreams and figuring it out and being proactive and not just, you know, hoping that like they'll get a phone call and get a role. Like I really, really respect that. And it's, everyone can't do it. Everyone won't do it. But when someone does and they actually email me the link to their film and I can see them in it, I'm like, okay, like I'm dealing with someone who is not only talented, but is going to understand the other side of the table, which I think is a huge thing for all actors to at least have some understanding of, because it's very easy to just have a very kind of self-centered outlook as an actor. And so, you know, when Iman came with all of that, I just knew I wanted to work with her because she gets it and she's working in a very smart way. And I have I always, you know, admire other women who do that.
So that brings me to another point. So if somebody's out here and they would like to write with you, Black and Sexy TV, or you just want to speak to budding writers that are out there in LA or in New York, or you should probably be in LA anyway, but that want to do something, what are your words of encouragement for them?
Well, we just put a call out for writers for season 3 of Hello Cupid, and we got a lot of really great,
everyone know that?
Yeah, it's going to be a remix season. It's going to be different than the first 2 seasons, but we're bringing the show back. And we got a lot of really great submissions off of that. So we solicited those scripts. So in that way, everything worked out the way it's supposed to. I think the best way for writers to attract my attention would be to send me something that they wrote that's actually been produced. Because we can't really take scripts that we didn't ask for. So we can't take anything unsolicited. We won't read it. We won't even open it. But if you send me a link to something and you're like, I wrote this, and it's even if it's just a 3-minute scene that you wrote, then we perk up in a lot of ways because we're a small company, small production company that's still growing. If I can understand that not only can you write, but you have a team of people around you that can help deliver something, we're probably more inclined to want to work with you. That doesn't mean that we've never worked with anyone who didn't do that. We definitely have. But just, that's the best way, you know, the best way is to send a link for something. We can kind of see how it flows. Other than that, we're going to be hiring more writers as we go along. I'm going through the scripts for Hello Cupid right now. We'll be hiring some new writers. You know, we bring people on. A lot of people we train from the ground up. So you come PA for us, but you're a writer. Eventually you're going to get your shot. You know, you come and assist us in the writing room by just taking notes. Eventually you're going to get your shot, but you just have to put yourself in the right environment for that.
Now, where can they see this open call, or is there an email address or something, website, portal or something?
Well, the open call that we put out was part of a group called We Are the Industry. It's an online group that's led by, I believe, Cody, I want to say Banks. I don't know if that's the right last name. And it's a pretty large group. It's by invite only. I don't know how you get invited into the group, but I utilize that group first. Anytime I have anything I want to get out to people who are actually writing and wanting to direct or edit or act, I utilize that as a resource. So look up We Are the Industry. It's a Google group. Look that up. See if you can get entrance into that group, and you'll occasionally see postings from me, you know, requesting all sorts of things. So.
Okay, so I'm getting questions from writers, okay. So that's why I was asking. Okay, yeah. They wanted to know the email address or the website because they wanted to submit. So.
Okay.
So then, and then like I told, you know, when I posted about this, I said actors, actresses, independent artists. So I know you don't do the music, but do you take solicitations for the music, or they go and find the music?
Yeah, I believe the email for that is music@blackandsexy.tv. So just send over, you know, your SoundCloud or whatever you want us to listen to. And Dennis goes through them regularly. He has like a whole file of new music, and he'll just listen, and you know, his ear perks up. You will be contacted. We will use your music.
So for those that have never watched, the music behind Black and Sexy TV is just as amazing as the acting. They won, I forgot what show it was, what season, but I know they said if you subscribe at this time, you get the free soundtrack. And I was too excited because what happens is every episode, there'll be like 3 songs and they tell you at the very end exactly who the artist is, the names of the songs. But then I got to go and individually find them and go purchase. And I was like, this made it so simple when they had the whole soundtrack for the season in one package that I could download to my computer. So the music is amazing. Music is
really important to people, including myself. Like I listen to Black and sexy music more than anything else. And we just love discovering new artists. There's so many great, you know, recording artists, producers, singers out there from all over the world, really. And so, yeah, please send your music in. Better be dope.
So now in the future, like the next 5-10 years, how do you want to grow Black and Sexy TV?
We want to become a household name. So that is going to require, you know, quite a bit on our end. And we're putting those things in place right now. We still consider ourselves to be a baby company, even though we've been around since 2008. We've only really been in the subscription business for just over a year. So this is a crash course for us. We're learning a lot. We've weathered some storms, some major storms already, and we're just learning and figuring it out as we go along. But we're bringing on more advisors. We're growing our team brick by brick. We're growing our library brick by brick. Everything is one step at a time until we can do more. So we're just exploring different ways. How can we do more, faster, better? And, you know, still be us. So, you know, those are things that we're exploring. And, you know, 5-10 years from now, we want to be, you know, just as strong. And there should be no doubt when you talk to any Black person about Black entertainment, Black and sexy TV, it should be on everyone's lips, you know, and on everyone's phone, you know. So like this year we were able to make a lot of really good moves. Like Apple TV was a big move for us, getting on Roku, getting our app together. You can actually subscribe to Black and Sexy TV on our app now. So we have our Android app. We also have our iOS. We have our Apple app. Those are big moves for us to be able to reach more people outside of who's been rocking with us, you know, since 2011 or 2008. That's a really big, great, strong group of people, but we need to reach more. We need to go further out into the world. So
now I had read that you guys made your goals for the subscription service like lickety split when you first launched.
Well, the goalpost always is moving, but we have been hitting milestones along the way, you know, and we have been growing and retooling and figuring out, oh, okay, wrong move here, correct the wheel. It's like steering a huge, huge ship, you know, and doing our best to keep it on course. Sometimes you have to move your course. There's like a big storm or there's a glacier you didn't see or whatever, you know. So, yeah, we really are learning as we go. It's pretty exciting. It's also stressful. But it's the only way to do it. It's the only way to do it.
Now, I was surprised to see when they did one of the Sexless like dinners or whatever they showed that a lot of the actors and actresses actually do a lot of writing too.
Yeah, Leah Williams is a writer, a great writer, who is the original creator of Sexless, and before we expanded it to being an ensemble cast. So she's very strong and talented. Who else is acting and writing? I think other actors are writing, but they're not writing for our series. We have Jeff Oliphant, who is starring and writer and also is a writer. And we have Brittany Lyles, who's writing now, is a very good writer, and she's starring, you know, as Talisa on Chef Julian. I write and I get in front of the camera too. Yeah, I tell everybody that everybody has a performance clause. You never know when I'm gonna call you to perform. So even though we have a lot of really great seasoned actors, experienced actors, we also will pluck someone raw right off of our set and say, you're in this role today, and the next thing you know, it becomes like a lead role. That's what happened with Tylisa. She was supposed to just be a person who walked from Julian's house to the car, and then we made a whole character out of her because she was great, you know, and she's actually an actress too, a raw talent, but an actress. So yeah, you know, that's how we do. We do a lot of like promote from within type of thing.
And then, as if they didn't already have enough on their plate, you did the Black and Sexy Awards.
Yeah. Well, that was necessary. It was time. We deserved it. You know, we deserved it. We wanted to do something that really acknowledged all of the talent that had come through these doors over the many years. And we wanted to do it right. And we wanted to just, you know, put our own flag post down and just have fun and celebrate each other. And so we will continue this tradition of the Blexies, the Black and Sexy Awards. The next one will be early next year. So it's not exactly a year apart. We're giving it a little more space so we can debut some more new series so that there's more to choose from. But the Black and Sexy Awards was a huge thing for us because many executives attended that ceremony and really understood what we're dealing with here in terms of community and the effect that we have on our community, where they couldn't see that just from watching our shows, but seeing 200 people come together, you know, in gowns and tuxedos, like a night of complete Black excellence, was very eye-opening, not only for our representation, our representatives, but also for the executives who are always trying to find ways to work with us more. So it was just a good move for us. Everyone was pretty happy, and we're gonna do it again, bigger. We're gonna do it bigger next year.
So do you, because I see a lot of stuff in the shows, but I don't know, do you guys have sponsorship? Because like everybody's carrying an iPhone. I see everybody in their Macs.
I know we should. Hey, what's up, Apple? What's up? We have small sponsorships. We have had them intermittently during our course of airing. We don't have any major sponsorships at this time. For that, I guess we're just kind of seeking the right fit because our model is really not ad-based. It doesn't mean that we wouldn't integrate brands into our content. We already do, obviously, like you're saying, with the Apple products and Samsung even. So it's something that we're exploring, but it's not our number one priority. But Apple, Samsung, if y'all want to, you know, get in touch with us, we'll talk to you. We try to create an organic ad-free experience, but I think brand integration would be a really good look for us. Or if we had one really strong sponsor, that would be great as well. So it's all things that we're open to, revenue streams.
I just had a thought and it's about lost. Just a minute. Brands. This doesn't happen often. Brands, and then oh my goodness. Okay, the Apple and the car. And what was I just thinking? God, it was good too. Oh, I know. Okay, so we have Issa Rae, who of course everyone knows. And I know Lena Waithe had something to do. Was it Roomieloverfriends or Hello Cupid?
Hello Cupid.
Hello Cupid. And so do you guys, because I know that I never watched that guy, but I happened to see something and the guy from First is on that guy. So are you guys all friends and all work together? And I just, you know, I think it's so fabulous.
Well, in the beginning, I guess we all were. You know, things kind of got prickly around that situation, to keep it real, spill all the tea. You know, with that situation got a little bit prickly. But in the early days, all of us have the same agenda. You know, we just have maybe different ways that we want it to unfold or different ways that we think it should unfold. But all of us just want to be out here creating, getting our stuff out and being awesome and being recognized for being awesome, you know, and like making a living off of what we do, feeding our families and all of that, you know. So in the early days, we all, you know, leveraged each other's brands and different talents. And I think a lot of us have we all kind of are going our own ways now. And maybe at some point that would come back around in the future. But Black and Sexy is a very separate entity from like Issa Rae Productions or what Lena is doing, even though we all have kind of ultimately the same goals for what we want to contribute, I guess. But yeah, you will definitely see actors float. Like I appeared on Awkward Black Girl and Leah Williams was on Awkward Black Girl. We all bounced around and Issa was on The Number. You know, we've all been in each other's homes. We all know each other. It's a small little digital community. But I think over here at Black and Sexy, we're really focused on the digital space and our ownership there. And we're a little more removed from the Hollywood scene, even though we do interact with it. So I think that's kind of what separates us from other people that sometimes work in the digital space, but it's not their key priority.
Right. And so that's the biggest thing that I got from Numa is that no matter what happens, they want to remain owners of this material. This is their stuff. And I think that is awesome. And that's just like with these independent music artists out here now. You don't, as long as you can pay your bills, you really don't have to have a major to sign you on. And to, I guess, you know, say, you know, oh, you're the best. You don't need that because you've got people.
I mean, you know, if you have your people, you have your people. Now, we would like to have more people. We would like more people to know about us. We think the more people that know about us, the more people that would join and watch and get something from what we're doing. So we're not interested in being like owners and mom and pop. We're interested in being owners and being an empire.
Rockefeller.
Being a major entity. So it's really navigating that because not everyone is here for your ownership. Not everyone is here for you to really blow up like that, you know? So you have to like remain really strong, really steadfast, and just be really sharp and learn and pivot and move and stay dedicated to what you're doing because, you know, when you start getting into those tax brackets and those like, you know, you start dealing with a business on a larger scale, there's a lot of like reality checking that's going to come your way. And I think that's a lot of what we're seeing now and what we're just, you know, dealing with and, you know, trying to, you know, keep our fans happy at the same time while we make those moves. So I think it's a real thing that Black businesses deal with in particular, you know, because there's so much that we've never had, that we've never owned. And we learned a lot about this when we did a documentary about Black businesses where we only shopped at Black businesses for 30 days. We learned so much about how little ownership we really have. So because of that, when we do own something, the entire community feels like they own you too. You know, and every decision you make is like that decision for the community. And so it can be heartbreaking or very, create a lot of apprehension or distrust if the community feels like you're making a choice that they don't want you to make. But yet we own the company, we have to make our choices to grow at the same time. And I've seen it happen with Carol's Daughter.
I was gonna say that.
Moisture, you know, other companies, you know, so it's like we could stay small. We still consider ourselves small, a startup and a baby. We could stay that way or we could grow to be a giant, you know. It's gonna take some really strategic choices that the community as a whole may get very nervous about. Why does the community get nervous about it? Because we've never had shit. There's so little that we've ever really had. And it makes a lot of people really nervous and really go to a negative place sometimes. So we are walking carefully through all of those choices. We're human beings, but we are seeing decades into the future. You know, that's really how we look at this company. And, you know, you can just watch it happen, you know. And I'm sure, you know, you've seen us go from free to sometimes pay every month, you know, and next thing you know, you're gonna start seeing billboards that say Black and Sexy TV, you know, and that requires some things to happen. So we're just out here making decisions, figuring it out, because the world needs to be plugged in to this. That's how we feel.
So in the fall, for those that don't, if you don't watch me on Periscope, they actually, BET picked up Roomieloverfriends, and then once that finished, Hello Cupid was supposed to come on, and they were showing it on Wednesday evenings at 11 o'clock at night, and that tells you how the show is. That's why The Couple was picked up by HBO. These shows are by no means for the children. These are adult programming.
Yes.
But I'm not saying they're rated X or anything, but they're adult programming, you guys. The language is, they are free with their language.
Yeah. Young grown.
Yeah. So, so, you know, it was wonderful to see it on BT. I literally must have scoped like every week for weeks to tell people, don't forget to watch tonight. I was so excited. And then randomly, like in March, I think I was changing channels and saw Chef Julian on Centric and said, oh my God, Chef Julian's on Centric. So I told my sister, who had not seen it before, I was like, you got to just record this. It is really good.
Well, it was great because, you know, BET and Centric are pretty much the same network. They're both Icon, both sisters. So when BET wanted to start airing our series, we weren't sure which ones were going to land where, but Centric was in the mix, you know, because they have a strong, they reach a lot of Black women, and Black women love our content. So it was a really perfect match. Yeah.
So definitely please follow Black and Sexy TV. I've had some people text me and were like, I don't know who she is. I don't know what that is. I don't have Hulu. I don't have. blackandsexy.tv is the website where you can get all the information.
And you sign up for your free month. So you get a whole month to just go browse around, check us out. And if you're too scared to do that, just go on Netflix and watch A Good Day to Be Black and Sexy. If you get anything out of that movie, then go sign up for your free month, you know, and just check us out. You know, you don't like it, say goodbye after 30 days.
Exactly. And I guess said
you for 30 days.
There's apps on Android and on iOS.
Yeah.
So you can, and the apps are free.
Black and Sexy TV.
Yep. The apps are free. You can check it out, and then you could subscribe from there if that's what you choose to do. But please check it out and just check it out and see, because I'm telling you, you are missing something. And also, I'm one of those people, I like to be on at the beginning. So you all would like to be on now, because when she does get to billboards, you can say, I knew her when. Just like you'll say about me when I get on TV with my show. You're going to say, I used to watch her on my computer. So you guys, please, I'm going to put all of the information in the box below so you'll know exactly where to find Black and Sexy TV, in case you didn't hear us say it 10 times, blackandsexy.tv. And it's the ampersand, right? It's not A&D, is it? Or does it go to both?
It's one word, blackandsexy.tv.
Yeah, so A&D, you guys.
And then when you search for the app, just search Black and Sexy TV. It'll pop up, and then just download that app and subscribe.
And then they have a Facebook fan page as well. They're on Twitter.
Everything everywhere. Black and Sexy. Just look up Black and Sexy TV on Twitter, on Instagram. That's our moniker.
Yes. And if you would like to talk to Numa, you know how to reach her as well. Her name is Miss Numa on everything. Go find her. Like I said, she's amazing. This is just an amazing, I can't imagine, especially when I saw your title, CCO, Chief Content Officer. I love it, because she helps with the programming, which is why it's so the bomb, because it's a woman behind it.
I try to speak for my ladies, you know. I represent our largest demo, you know, Black women of a certain age.
Exactly. Exactly. So you guys, usually I ask at this point, how can we support you? But I know exactly how we can support you. We need everyone to go download the app and to subscribe. And if you don't, at least try it out for a month and, you know, give them a few views and then log off or whatever. But I'm telling you, you'll be hooked.
It's no big deal. Just hang out with us for a month and then stay if you got something from it, and go if you didn't. It's okay.
And like we said, Chef Julian starts on Sunday, the second season. So you guys have a few days to catch up to get season 1 in before season 2 starts, so you know what's going on. But Chef Julian starts on Sunday, and I promise you that night when it airs, there will be a whole bunch of tweets.
Yeah, our Twitter parties are the best. It's the best. So
they literally do Twitter parties like right while you're watching and right after. They will be online, hashtag Chef Julian, and the actors and actresses and all the fans will be right there talking.
Yep.
So you don't want to miss out. I'm telling you, you don't want to be left out. Because that FOMO is serious, you guys. You want to watch this.
FOMO.
You want to watch it. And not to mention, ladies, Chef Julian happens to be fine. Just saying.
Attractive man, yes.
He's quite a looker.
He's a great guy too. I mean, in real life. You know, he's a fuck boy on screen, but he's a great guy in real life. He's a joy to work with.
Fellas, the ladies are all very nice looking as well.
Trust me.
Beautiful. They're all very beautiful women.
Everyone, all different types of ladies. Yeah.
Exactly. I was just gonna say we've got darker hues, lighter hues,
and
straight hair, natural. We've got everything. So definitely, everyone, please support these projects. We didn't even get to talk about Numa and all her short films that I most recently saw, and I don't even know where would we find those.
houseofnuma.com, my website. And I think we're going to do something on Black and Sexy TV where we program avant-garde or experimental films, which would include some of my work. So that will come in the future where there'll be, films that are a little left of center. And for people who are into that, they can watch those. And then we're also going to program short films as well that are more linear, but still really great storytelling. So
I almost forgot. What about the movie? Is it Roomieloverfriends is supposed to have the big movie?
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Okay. We're still working on it. Yeah, we have a lot on our plate, but that's one of our priorities for the summer is to get that off. So just stay tuned for those updates.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And don't hang up when we get done.
Okay.
But thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for the text messages and the questions that came in. I appreciate you. Please, if you want to continue the conversation, send us messages, tweet us, whatever, and hopefully we can get back to you in a timely fashion. We're both busy women. But I know that you guys, when I tell you this programming is the bomb, I'm telling you I'm not joking. This is literally what I sit and do. Not joking. I literally sit with my iPad playing in my earbuds and I work and I watch as I'm typing. So it's crazy. I multitask really well. But next week, I don't know who we have yet, but I'm sure it'll be a fabulous person. Oh, yes, I do. I'm lying. Sorry, guys. Next Tuesday, we will be right here at my parents' house again, and we will have Brandice Henderson, who is one of the founders of The Great Girlfriends, which is an amazing podcast, which has turned into a community of over 10,000 ladies on Facebook. But she is the creator of Harlem Fashion Row. And if you're not familiar with Harlem Fashion Row, you have a week to get familiar with it. But Brandice Henderson will be on the show next week, Tuesday. So right here, same time, same place, another entrepreneur that is killing it. She is a Southern gal that lives in New York City now. And I think you'll love her story. It's going to be amazing. So I will see you guys next week, same time, same place. Ask Dr. Renee on all social media platforms. And if you have any questions for me, info@askdrrenee.info. And I will put all of the information for Black and Sexy TV in the box below. Good night.